Hello, everyone. I am with the Chief Executive Officer of Dazia Consulting, Aizad Ahmed. Hello.
Yes, hi, thank you. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks for having me today.
And today we're going to go over common questions about working in the financial sector. So if you're ready, I'll start. What would someone do if they would want to work in a retail bank in Canada?
That's a good question. There are certain requirements for working in a bank, which include education requirements, skills, and also some competency, soft skills. So those are required in order to work in a bank. Yes.
And would this include prior work experience
So
in a bank?
the good news is you really don't need to have work experience to have a job in the bank. The banks and other institutions, they have their own training programs. So it is possible. Like personally, I joined a bank and I didn't have any prior experience before that. So it's possible without work experience.
All right. And what are the main roles and positions that people would look into being?
Yes, in the retail banks here in Canada, there are personal bankers which open your bank account. They set up loans and mortgages and credit cards and also do investments for you. So they are personal bankers. Then in the front, you have tellers where you go for doing your bills and general cash requests. So the tellers are there. Then you have small business advisors, which are for those people who have small businesses. Obviously, they give them all the support. And then you have the management people, which are the managers in the bank, which review all the transactions.
And if someone without experience or is just looking to get into it, what are some entry-level jobs that they would look for?
Yes, so entry level mainly, yes. First is like a teller position. People start working as it's called a customer service rep in the bank. But also, if you are qualified with some licenses, some courses, you can start out as a personal banker. So the personal banker is also an entry level position in the bank.
Mhm.
So these are two main entry level positions.
What are the skills and education, as you mentioned, required to work in a bank as a teller?
So tellers, actually, this customer service reps in the front, they don't need to have any education. Usually they are just students. They are working there part-time for a couple days and they are on call. Usually they are per hour. Usually in every branches, the branch managers, they hire the tellers, the CSRs. So you'll need to walk around and drop your resume off at various branches. And if you're available and they find you understand and you are, liable, and you're eligible to work in Canada, they will take you. There really is no educational requirement for a customer service rep or teller.
And in these banking positions, what is the daily routine of a personal banker?
Yeah, so like we said, if you start as a teller, then you can work there a few years and then move on to be a personal banker. But it's good if you get that directly. And if you work as a personal banker, so yes, on a daily basis, the routine would be you have some assigned clients usually, and you would contact them on a regular basis for their banking requirements. And then sometimes there's walk-in clients. Client new to Canada came in, they want to open a bank account, or somebody has questions about their investments, or somebody needs a mortgage, or somebody needs a credit card. So you would meet with them and you would give them the appropriate financial advice and you will set up their accounts for them. So that's the main job of a personal banker.
So would a personal banker have more separate skills or requirements versus the other jobs in a bank?
Yes, so personal bankers now, you see, you're supposed to give advice to the client. And in order to give advice, you need to have a certain knowledge and expertise and education level for being a personal banker. There's usually, in most banks, there's three levels of personal bankers. There's the financial planner, 1, 2, 3 level, or personal banker, senior personal banker, then financial advisor. So it's based on seniority and it's based on also having your licenses. So you do need to have a license in order to work as a personal banker in the bank.
And why do I need a license to work as a personal banker?
Good question. Yes, licenses give trust for the client. You have to advise them. For example, if you If you don't know what an RRSP account is, there's taxation issues on that. If you advise the wrong account type, if you put them into the wrong investment, if you give them the wrong advice, it could be a serious financial problem for them. That's why you need to have that understanding capability about all the aspects of investments and also mortgages and lending criteria, and then only you can give advice to the clients.
So which are the specific licensing courses that you need to work in a bank?
Yeah, so working in the bank as a financial advisor is a regulated profession, just like doctors, just like engineers, just like any other like license, even like plumbers, electricians. They are regulated. They have to pass a licensing exam, and then only they can work under, in the proper manner. And you are also satisfied if you call somebody who's licensed, they are the ones who can give you the proper service, right? So in the bank, the licensing courses you need to do to start out, first would be to do either the IFIC exam, which is Investment Funds in Canada, or the CSC, the Canadian Securities course.
So how would a new immigrant, for example, get funding and support to do the licensing exams?
Yes, there are several ways to get funding for new immigrants, actually. New immigrants, there are different programs that the government of Canada supports different agencies to undertake where they can get support. So if you are a new immigrant, there is an opportunity for you to get funding. For example, one is with Access. Access is a employment agency, okay? And under Access, they have different workshops and events, and you can attend those. And it is possible for you to get your funding for that purpose also. So it's a good idea to talk to Access Employment because they have, for example, financial connections. A financial connection is the name of their course that they are providing. Okay, and with there, then you will get funding for undertaking the licensing exams.
Would you say, would I have to go to college to pass these courses and start a career in a bank?
So that's a good question. One way is to go into a college and you can do this course, the licensing and other courses, general courses for a year. It can take you a year or 2 years if you go to college and become fully competent in becoming a financial advisor. That's one route, but that is very expensive. It can cost you $14,000, $15,000 for your tuition. Then there's living expenses. Then there's the lost opportunity also of for your also employment, right? So it really is very, very difficult to go to a college. It's not required, but it is a good idea if you can afford it. But you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to do that. Okay. Let me actually show you. I was mentioning about Access Employment. So this is, you can see my screen. This is Access Employment. Okay, and they have different actually. They have for business, electrical, financial services, human resources, sales and marketing, engineering. So we're talking about the financial services here. Financial Services Connection. It provides internationally trained financial services professionals with practical job experience. So you must be in Ontario and you must have a PR residence. So you're PR here in Canada. It's a 6-week program. And the program benefits are they will do mentoring with you also. They will help you connect with employers. And they will also help you get the certification, the licensing exam also. So this is, in this way, you can do it in 6 weeks. If you go to a college, it'll take you a year. And you may then need, of course, work experience and everything. In this one, you do need to have 1 year work experience outside of Canada. So this is for new immigrants only. And they will sponsor you. The fees for this program is $500, which still is very cheap compared to the actual cost. 6 weeks cost of the whole program is much more, of course. So the going to a college is one option, but if you are new to Canada, then looking at Access Employment is a good idea.
Right. So Access is one way to get support for your financial career, but could there be support maybe perhaps from the government?
So the government doesn't really fund it directly. And actually, these courses are not very expensive. The IFIC course or the CSC, they both, like, if you want to take the CSC now, the Canadian Securities course, it's going to cost you around $1,600. Okay. So if you think about it, $1,600 expenses, you can get a job in the bank for about, which will pay you annually around $50,000, right? So it's not a bad deal. And if you work there a couple of years, it's well earned. It's less than 1 month of your salary, right? It's only a couple of weeks salary. So it's not that expensive. And even the IFIC exam, that also is not that expensive either. If you take the IFIC exam, it is $715 for the combo. So it's not a huge investment if you do it on your own.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned these courses such as IFIC and CSC. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's a good question. Also, what's the difference between the CSC and the IFIC? So I think I can show you. Let me share my screen. This here is a comparison. So this is from the Canadian Securities Institute. So it is a comparison of what is the CSC and what is the IFIC. Main summary I can just tell you is also the CSC is for anybody who wants to give advice on all the securities. For example, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, every type of different security in Canada, then you want to do the CSC. If you only will advise mutual funds, and actually in the branches, the only security which is sold in the retail branches is a mutual fund. So then you just need to do the IFIC exam. So that's the main difference between the two, right?
So what's the difference between a personal banker and an investment advisor?
Yes, so like we mentioned, if you do the IFIC exam, so let me share my screen again. If you do the IFIC exam, you are going to satisfy the regulatory requirements only for being a mutual fund rep. You can become a personal banker. If you do the CSC exam, then you have a variety of financial services opportunities. You can become an investment advisor. You can advise clients for many other different types of products. So investment advisor's role is much more broad than just a banker, personal banker in the bank.
So with the IFIC and the CSC course that you mentioned, who provides these exams?
So there are two main providers in Canada, which are recognized by the banks. So one is the Canadian Securities Institute, which I already showed you, and the second one is this one, which is IFC Institute. IFC is they have the Canadian Investment Funds course, which, as you can see, is $385 for the course. And then there's extra stuff if you want the study guide, you want the printed book, it's extra. So that's one option. IFC is one provider. And the second provider is the CSI, Canadian Securities Institute. So here, the IFIC is offered by these two companies and their equivalent.
Mm-hmm. So what are more various topics in IFIC and CSC?
Yes, the topics that you will study in both of these, they are, and some of them are, I would say, the same in both. I think I'm going to cover what are in CSC, and then we can get an idea about overall what is in the IFIC also. So in the CSC, you will go through understanding about. So let me bring a list of that information here. So yes, here we go, course information. Share my screen. So in the CSC, As we mentioned, it is if you want to do the mutual funds or you want to do other products, it's for them, right? And here the syllabus is the Canadian investment marketplace. So you talk about what is the overall capital markets. You understand about the regulatory environment, different regulations in Canada, laws and rules. Then you study about the economy and different investment products. So because the CSC has, you will study in more detail about, a lot of detail about the bonds and equities. In the IFIC, you don't go into that detail. It's only for mutual funds, right? But in the CSC, you're going to study about bonds, stocks, and derivatives also. In the corporation, you will study about the statements, the profit loss account, the balance sheet, and then also financing listing, how companies issue bonds and stocks in the market. Then you will also in the part 2, so that was part 1 till chapter 12 of the CSC 1. In part 2, fundamental technical analysis, how you will assess which type of investment is suitable based on the charts and graphs and economy. Then company analysis, the company ratios, how you can do the ratios for different companies. Portfolio analysis, how to understand the returns of a portfolio when you have a combination of different securities. And then these chapters here are about the mutual funds. So in the IFIC exam, there's more focus, there's more chapters on the mutual funds because it is mainly for that, right? Here you only have 2 chapters, 17 and 18 for the mutual funds. But in this IFIC exam, there's like 5 chapters on mutual funds. Then exchange traded funds, also other alternative investments and other managed products, structured products. And then of course, taxation. So very important for you to know the taxation rules so you can advise clients properly. And then there's about fee-based accounts, working with the retail client and working with the institutional client. So you may be dealing with clients in the branches, or you may be working with companies who want to invest their money also. So this is that's the main course contents.
It seems like these courses are a relatively low investment for what you may get out of it in the future. But how much time would it take to complete one of these courses?
Yes, good question. So like on the website, it says there for CSC, it's 135 to 200 hours of study, right? So part 1 and part 2. If you're going to do the IFIC exam, that's about 100 hours. So you need to plan, when can you take out time to study these in your, if you're working also, so you may be working at a job and you want to get into the banking sector, you can, these are self-study. You can study on them in the evening, on the weekends. If you can only do, suppose, 20 hours a week, then it can take you 5 weeks to do the IFIC exam, right? So it depends on your effort, how much time you can put into it.
Mm-hmm. So preparing for these exams, what kind of study material can students have?
Yeah, so the CSC and the IFC, they do provide study guides. There's a book, so really not a study guide, but a book. So the book is, they're very lengthy. They do have that, and then they have also different, you can say there are mock exams also, you can buy from them. Then there are also flashcards and other study material you can get from them. Even audiobook is available. And then there are other companies which provide exam preparation material, right? So there are other companies, and our company also provides, we have recorded videos of each chapter available for students in a condensed and easy to understand, quick manner. So some people, they learn by watching and listening, and for them, watching good videos is a good way to study. Other people just like to read themselves, then they can read the book or they can read a study guide. So it depends on how they learn.
Is it possible to get companies to sponsor someone for doing the exam?
Yeah, that's a good question. Some of the banks, they do hire you with the requirement that you have to pass the course within the next 3 months or 6 months. It is, but then you're under a lot of pressure. If you don't pass, then they're going to kick you out. It's a requirement of the job. And so you are under a lot of pressure. They do your training also, and they force you, well, I would not say force you, but they make it a requirement. If you don't pass, then you're out. So it's a good idea either to do it on your own first, or another way to do it is also you can join some companies. They are not salaried position. They are provide you a business opportunity. You can join a business and the company will sponsor you if you meet their criteria, and they will pay for your licensing, and you can get training and you can pass the exams with them and get experience and also earn money. So that is also a good way. I also started like that with a company which sponsored my exams and they gave me training. And that is how I also did my course. So that's the other way you can get sponsorship also. Yes.
If someone passed the licensing exam, are they guaranteed a job?
Good question. So there's no guarantee in life at all.
Right.
Nothing is free. But once you pass the exam, yes, you definitely are. When there's applications for a position, you're at a plus point because you already have the license. But there's other skills also. It's not just about getting 60% is the pass mark. If you get 70%, 80, 90%, that's not the only thing. They are looking for people with communication skills. You're able to talk to clients, communicate with them. If you can speak an extra language, that's a big plus point in the branch also, because you can talk to your community people also in their language, right? More languages you know is a plus point. You're also managing your time, managing your appointments. That's also important. Then also you can say relationship with clients, then handling clients' objections. A lot of clients will not understand or they will have issues, and managing that also. If a client is upset, what are you going to do? So these are extra skills that you do need to have. And then computer skills also. Everything is on the computer. You have to set up their accounts in the computer. You have to print out documents. You have to keep track of all the paperwork. So these are also extra skills which are required along with the licensing.
So after passing the IFIC or CSC course, what skills would I need on my resume?
Yeah, so on the resume, you should be able to prove that you have that availability of managing your time, managing paperwork, communication. So written communication, if you're sending out an email to clients, talking, also your verbal skills, also then also your even presentation skills. You need to sometimes present. This is a opportunity for investment. All those things are important things they look for. Yes.
Can I get a mentor for my career in the financial sector?
Yes, there are mentorship options. One is, for example, it's called the Mentoring Partnership in Toronto. They also, for new immigrants, they provide mentorship. And yes, you can ask people who are working in the banks, maybe they can give you mentorship also and help you to become licensed and become educated and also to understand what is required. Yes.
So after the IFIC exam and the CSC exam, what other courses can I complete and get promotion, perhaps?
Yeah, the CSC and IFIC are not the end. It's actually the starting. They are the starting of a career in the financial sector. Okay, so it leads you to certain designations. Okay, you can get designation, what is called PFP, Personal Financial Planner designation. Okay, and in order to get that designation, you need to do further courses also. Okay, so for the further courses, I can show you. Let me share my screen again. So for bankers, as we mentioned, you do the CSC or you do the IFIC, and they are equal for the bankers, right? And then another course is the Personal Financial Services Advice. You do that course, and then you do another course, which is called the Financial Planning Course 1. Then you get a certificate in Financial Services Advice. Okay. Then after that, you do Financial Planning 2, and you get a certificate in Advanced Financial Advice. And then you do Financial Planning Integration course, and then Applied Financial Planning Certification exam. And then you can get the Personal Financial Planner designation. So as you can see, you'll need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 courses. Then you can get the PFP designation. And this is why in the branches there are different levels. So if you're financial advisor 1, you're probably just doing this. Level 2 is maybe here, and then level 3 will be higher. They will have the full financial planning designation. So, and same thing for the investment advisors. They need to do CSC, they don't do IFIC. And then they can do wealth management, financial planning supplement, then they get the certificate, and then they do two more, and then they get the PFP designation. So there's a lot of other courses also you can do, and you can get that designation. Yes. Right.
What is a financial planner exactly?
Yes, financial planner actually gives you advice on everything related to your finances. So it includes also insurance, life insurance, critical illness, disability insurance. It includes advice on estate planning also, how to pass on your wealth to your next generation. It includes also, of course, investment advice, and also for your debt consolidation, how to manage your debt so you pay less interest, you pay off your debts faster. And it also includes saving for your emergency also. And so they give advice on basically a lot of different aspects, even helping you to make a budget, your expenses and your income. So that is all those things a financial planner would do.
What other courses and experience do I need to become a financial planner?
Yes, so as I mentioned, there are those courses that if you do those courses, financial planning 1, financial planning 2, etc., then you can become a financial planner. The other way, like you mentioned, if you really want to spend a lot of time and effort, for example, if you go to Mohawk College, there's a 2-year diploma in financial services. You have to do various courses, and then you can get the financial planning designation because you have done the 2-year diploma in financial services. Seneca College also, there if you go through business administration, then you do these exams, you can get the designation. Others to do financial planning, you can do a bachelor's also. If you want to spend 4 years in the college, you can do that in financial planning and then get it. Or Fanshawe College also, they also have you can do the diploma there. It's probably 1 year. King's College. So there are different rules, different routes you can do through postgraduate or through the colleges, and you can get the financial planner designation.
And what are the benefits of the LLQP life insurance exam?
Yes, so LLQP exam actually is another route people take to start their financial career. LLQP there's 4 exams, 30 questions in it. And with the LLQP certification, you are licensed actually for investments advice and insurance also. In investments, the life insurance companies, they have what is called segregated funds. Segregated funds are very similar to mutual funds. They have some guarantees also. So doing the LLQP, actually, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can do investments and insurance and advise clients for their financial planning. And you can get, so usually most of the LLQP income is commission based. You can run your own business. And then later on, if it doesn't work out, you can do the investment course and you can go to the bank also.
And why would someone want to start their own business versus working in a bank?
Yes, starting your own business is sometime, as you know, if you open up a store, you could make $500 a month, or you can make $50,000 a month, right? So there's an unlimited income potential with starting your own business. And it depends on how much effort you do. As you know, in the business, there's many things you have to look at. We call it like 5 P's. There's marketing also. There's your products, what products you're offering to the client, the people, the employees that you have, which would be you and maybe your team, right? And then price also, what is the price of your products? And then also place, location. So with business now, you can do business on Zoom. Now your business through Zoom, you can meet clients on Zoom and you can set up insurance policies and investments for them through Zoom. Many of the banks and also are now just people don't go to the branches because of the COVID issue and people don't have time. So now you can have virtual meetings also. And prospecting also, then you can you can find your own clients. Prospecting is a key aspect of doing your own business. If you manage all that, you can potentially make more money in a business than working in the branch. In the branch, like I said, starting is around $50,000 annually as a personal banker. That's hardly like $3,500 or $4,000 a month, which is a starting position. And then you may go up to 60,000, 70,000 at the most. And then you can go to being a branch manager after a couple of years, possibly. But that is like the range of income in the branches. As a business, when you deal with one client, usually you can make like $1,000 roughly. And
Mhm.
then that could potentially be more. So it's on your, there's a lot of, so it depends. If you like that, then starting your own business is a good idea.
Mhm. Yep, that's all the questions I had. Thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you. And if anybody is interested to learn more about these courses or they're having difficulty in the courses, um, as I mentioned, we do have some courses on our platform available for passing these in an easy manner, so they can do that. And we have some study guides also. And if anybody needs any guidance, I can definitely help them with their career and financial planning. So thank you very much for this interview today.